Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is an absolute honor and a privilege just to be in your presence. A special thank you to Kelly and Kendall. I owe them all the thanks in the world for just granting me the opportunity to be here. I can promise you this, with our time together, you will get nothing short of my transparency, my honesty, and authenticity. I will give you everything that I have with our time together, and I promise I won't sell you short with our time. But there's one thing that I do, and I do it everywhere that I speak or I serve, and it does not matter what college I'm at, what school I'm at, what business I am, or what corporate setting that I'm in. It's the only time it will require me to ask you of a little bit of audience participation, and y'all got a C- from me earlier, and I know that y'all can do way better than that. So on the count of 3, I need you all to yell out TC Speak as loud as you can. Let my energy and passion be your energy and passion, and we will get this thing rolling. 1, 2, 3. Well, let's get into it then. I grew up at 2937 Thousand Oaks Drive, right here in Austin, Texas. My mother, a beautiful woman, her name is Renee. I have a father, his name is Earl. My older brother, who's here, his name is Christian. The only thing that's unique about our family is that my father just so happens to be an NFL Hall of Famer, Heisman Trophy winner, graduate of the University of Texas. The list goes on and on, right? As of March 11th, 1981, he was officially made one of the state legislated heroes in the state of Texas. We have 4. My father is the only living one that we have. There's Stephen F. Austin, which we get the city Austin. There's Sam Houston, which we get Houston. There's Davy Crockett, lived on the mountaintop of Tennessee, that thing you heard when you were in grade school. And then there's my father, Earl Christian Campbell. Big shoes to fill. So naturally, football is something that I fell in love with at a very, very early age. I attended Westlake High School, the same powerhouse high school that produced people like Drew Brees and Nick Foles. I'm sure many of you are already aware. By the time I walked out of my junior season, I walked out that season because of the hard work, dedication, and commitment of my teammates, ranked the number 2 prospect in the entire state of Texas at the running back position. Number 32 prospect overall, but if you listen to me very closely, the first words that I ever spoke to you was that because of the hard work, dedication, and commitment of my teammates. This is a sales force. This is a team atmosphere. You are never going to accomplish anything that you desire this 2019 year by yourself. And please always remain humble and never forget to give praise, credit, and the just due to the individuals who are also involved in this sales force. Never forget who you are and what you come from and who has helped you to get there. The scholarships for me were rolling in. Out of respect for the recruiting process, I did not tell anybody that the school I desired the most was San Diego State University. You see, I had heard in California they don't have any mosquitoes. Texas kid, I'd only been to Galveston one time. I've seen the Gulf. I had never seen an ocean. And I heard that they had this place called In-N-Out Burger, which was amazing. I'd only heard about those things growing up in Texas, and I wanted to know what that was like. So out of respect for the process, I never told any of the schools that called me and offered scholarships that San Diego State University was my number 1 choice. The only problem with these goals and these accolades that I had for myself was that I was living my life 2 ways. I was a different person during the day, and at nightfall, I was a heathen. I was never an arrogant person, but the problem with my life was I was not utilizing the platform that I had in the community in which I lived in to be a role model for young people and other people around to look up to. And life has a way of getting your attention. And it will get your attention when you're doing things behind closed doors, when you're saying your life one way and living another life behind closed doors. So get your act together now. If there's something personal that you're dealing with your family or with this business that you know is not right, please get it together, because life has a way of activating itself, and it will humble you and it will bring you to your knees. My life was about to be forever changed. 4 months after my 16th birthday, our rival high school, Austin High, was playing our high school, Westlake, and I showed up there. And I was drunk. Police officers smelled alcohol on my breath, and my life was forever changed in that given moment. It was in front of a sold-out crowd. Police officers made their way from the back, and then while the game was going on, they pointed to me in the stands, and they signaled me out of the stands. I knew my life would never, ever be the same. And I can remember after the processing, after everything, I finally got in front of my mother. and my mother was crying tears like never-ending waterfalls. I'm 32 years old to this day. I've never seen my mother cry the same way she did when I was 16. And we've gone through all types of situations as a family. As many of you can imagine, we all go through these things. So we've been through all types of death, all types of betrayal, all types of heartache. My mother was just relieved from aneurysm surgery during the month of November. And when my mama got diagnosed with these aneurysms, she didn't even shed a tear. But she cried like never-ending waterfalls when her baby son had telling her what it was that I went through to find me in that situation with the police. My father was so dejected, so disturbed, and so disappointed, he could not even look his baby boy in the eye when he talked to me. And it was in that given moment that I recognized something. All the things that I had in my life were not because of anything that I had ever done. The clothes on my back, the food on the table, the roof over my head. I never had a thing to worry about. I was privileged as a young kid growing up in this country. You see, my father, a first-generation college student in his family, his father died on him when he was 11 years old. People walked into his life and told him he could not amount to anything. He'd just be working the rose fields for the rest of his life. At times, there were 18 people living in the household and a hole in the top of the roof. My mother came from humble beginnings on the east side of Tyler as well. They worked hard to ensure that their children never had anything to worry about. And here I was, the baby boy of the family, and I was literally taking my future, balling it up in my hands and throwing it back into my mother's face and my father's face as if to say, I don't care or I don't appreciate anything that you had ever done for me. And when that honesty, when that guilt, when it set in, it rotted me to my core. I went before the administration and the school board long after that, and they made the decision to send me to alternative school. I was a minor. I consumed alcohol. On top of all that, I was on a school campus. But my father wanted to take things a step further, and he wanted to teach me a lesson of integrity and character. So he made me call every single Division I college coach who was recruiting me, whether they offered me a scholarship or not, and explain to them what I had just done. No, I didn't have to do it. But my dad didn't want me growing up to be one of those people who the blame is never on them, like it's never their fault when something goes wrong. Perhaps y'all work with somebody like that, and if they're in this room, just keep the comments to yourself. They don't take ownership for their mistakes. And my dad didn't want me being one of those types of people. So I called every single coach. I even had one coach tell me, he said, Tyler, why are you even telling me this? It's better that I don't even know this. With every phone call that I made, it literally felt like I was speaking my future away. And I made a promise to myself that I would never allow myself to get into this situation. I was going to change my life. And a lot of people want change. These sales meetings, they're about impactful change and what you're going to do in your life. But most people fail to understand that in order to change your life and your circumstances, you have to first and foremost change your mind. You have to get tired and fed up with being mediocre at what you're doing. You've got to get tired of constantly hearing no on these sales meetings. You've got to get tired. Because when you get to that standpoint, your life will be changed anew. You've got to get an agenda for yourself. 2018 is over. Whatever didn't work, don't you come into this year repeating the exact same thing. Learn and grow. You change your mind, and then you begin to change your life. Hold yourselves accountable for those things. I told myself, listen, I've got to work harder than I ever have. I've lost the respect of people within this community, let alone my teammates. My mom had me on punishment. I would go to alternative school all during the day. After 2 months of being underneath that umbrella, she finally let me run the neighborhood to stay in shape because I had a dream of playing college football. So what I would do is I'd wake up early in the morning at 4:30 and I'd run in the field across the street. And then I'd come back in the afternoon after alternative school and run again. I had a dream of playing college football, and I wasn't going to let my teammates down. I went before the school board before the year was up, my junior year, and they granted me the opportunity to come back to school for my senior year. I had a renewed mindset about myself. I had a new foundation built up in myself. I had a thought in my mind that I would live my life in such a way that I would find an opportunity to help uplift and encourage the people around me in more ways than I could count. I had to understand that this life that I live, I had to live it by an attitude of we instead of me. I had to go against the American culture selfishness. I had been to the bottom of the bottom, and I learned that my life was not about me, but the difference I could make in somebody else's life by carrying a football in my hand at that particular point. So I wouldn't make the same mistake. I laid a new foundation. There were only about 8 African Americans in my high school. One was the janitor. So I knew I had to get my life right because there were some other minority kids coming up after me, and they needed to know that, hey, Tyler Campbell got his life together. Look what he became. I can get out here and I can do the same. You change your mind and you change your life. The senior season rolled around. I earned the respect back of my teammates. They made me a captain. We didn't reach our goal of a state championship, but I set a record at our high school for the longest run ever made from scrimmage, a record that will probably never be broken but tied. And that was a run for 99 yards. The crazy thing about that football season, though, was that my phone never rang the same way from Division I colleges like it did the year before. But I didn't trip. I wasn't worried because San Diego State was my number one choice anyway. So I called Wally Gaskins after the season was over. He was my running back coach. I called him. I said, Coach, I'm ready to commit. I'm ready to be an Aztec. I want that In-N-Out burger, baby. And he said, Tyler, we thought you were going to Texas A&M. So we don't have your scholarship here. We gave it to another kid. I'm sorry, you can't come to San Diego State University. And I was like, man, okay, maybe it was better for me not to go to California because maybe I wasn't ready to handle being that far away from home anyway. But I went down my list of schools: Notre Dame, Missouri, Texas A&M, TCU, and a host of others. And you name it, I heard it underneath the sun. Tyler, you don't fit our system. We have another running back committed. You can't come here. Or we just don't think you're good enough to play for us. I got to the last school on my list, and it was a school up there in Waco called Baylor University. By this time, I'm frantic. I'm panicked because this is my last scholarship that I have on the table. I call the coach from Baylor. I say, Coach, I'm ready to commit. I want to be a Baylor Bear. And he's like, Tyler, man, slow down. You're 17 years old. We love to have you. But this is the biggest decision you've ever made in your life, where you're going to spend the next 4 to 5 years of your life. How about I give your family an in-home visit to make sure that this is the right place for you? He comes down, and I say, thank you, Coach, for coming down, because I make a mean peanut butter and honey sandwich. My sandwich will change your life. I was desperate. He walked out of the meeting with my family in our living room, and I said, Coach, give me 2 days. I just want to make sure this is the right place for me. Those 2 days passed. I'm walking through the hallways and out to the parking lot at Westlake High School. And I called the coach at Baylor University to commit and go ahead and be one to head to that university. And as I was walking towards my vehicle, I called the coach, and the world literally started to move in slow motion. The coach picked up the phone. I said, Coach, I'm ready to commit. He said, Tyler, you're not going to believe this. He said, at 7 p.m. last night, we had a running back commit from just down the road in Waco. You can't come to school here. And I fell to my knees. They went weak. I could not even feel them. And it was because I knew that that was the last college choice that I had as a 17-year-old senior in high school. I was the token athlete in my school. I was one of the token athletes here in Central Texas. Signing day rolled around in February, and I was the only member of the Texas Top 100 list that didn't sign a letter of intent on the dotted line. At my high school, it's a very affluent place. There were people going to Harvard, going to Yale, going to Penn, going to all types of schools. And here I was, the athlete who had scholarships in his name, college paid for at the age of 16. And now here I am in our senior year. I have nowhere to go to school. And I was embarrassed. I had no idea what to actually do. And at times in your life, at times on the road in sales, you are going to hit rock bottom. It's going to happen. And it's in those moments where you're going to find out who you are as an individual. Will you be the type of person who will change yourself, put all your blood, your sweat, your tears, and everything that you have in ensuring that you never get to that place again? Or you become complacent and just accept where you are in life? The choice is yours. No matter how dark it gets out there on the sales force, just remember you have a choice to change whatever it is that you're going through. I had this dream of playing college football, and I wasn't going to let it go. I wasn't going to give up on it. We were getting ready to graduate in the month of May. I had nowhere to go to school. And I can remember walking the halls. My head coach, a man by the name of Derek Long, he gave me a business card. And on that business card, it said Pasadena City College, a junior college in Pasadena, California. And a light bulb went on in my head. Surely they don't have no mosquitoes in Pasadena, California. Maybe it's not as close to the beach, but maybe no mosquitoes out there. I go to Pasadena City College, and I like it. I go out there with my mother. We like the campus. I say, Mama, I want to come to school here. She says, okay, do me a favor. You can't come back to the state of Texas until you have your degree in hand. Can you do it? I said, yes, ma'am, I think I can. She said, well, you come here, don't come back. I said, okay. I told my mother that when the first recruiting agency called me when that plane landed, I was going to tell one person and one person alone where I was going to school because everybody wanted to be the first one to break the story of where Earl Campbell's son was going to school. I said, I'm going to tell the first person. I'm never going to tell anybody else again. And sure enough, when I got home that night from getting off the trip to Pasadena City College, I told one person, I told them, I'm going to be at Pasadena City College. I'm going to junior college at Pasadena, California. I'm going to be a Pasadena City College Lancer. And the dude was like, for real? He's like, Tyler, you got the grades, you're qualified. Why don't you just go to a school and just walk on? And it was a lesson for me. You have to know that you can't expect somebody else to understand your dreams and your goals. They're your dreams and they're your goals. You can't expect somebody to understand your desires of your life at all times. Be careful who you tell what you want to accomplish this sales year. Why? Because people are in your shoes. They can't always understand. Do you know that people will talk you out of your goals and your dreams if you let them? Because they don't have the same passion. They don't have the same ideas as you do. Take your pen and pad while you have this seminar and write some things down that you want to accomplish and hold yourself accountable. Put them somewhere every day that you can see them, because you have to be your best cheerleader. So I had to learn at an early age, I need to be my best cheerleader, because nobody else is going to understand why I'm going to a junior college in Pasadena, California. Nobody else outside this room is going to understand when you say you want to be the next leader on the sales force. But you do. So go out and claim what's yours. I get to Pasadena City College. I get hurt the second game of the season with a shoulder injury, and I was sidelined for the entire year. Some of you in this room, you've heard about depression. I'm here to tell you that it's a real thing. For the first time in my life, I wanted to give up, and I wanted to quit. I wanted to throw in the towel. I wanted to come home, reboot my life. Maybe this football thing isn't for me. Maybe this is life's way of redirecting me, because I faced more adversity. And a lot of times people want to throw in the towel when you face something, but you can't quit. It took the frequent phone calls of my mother, Renee, my father, Earl, and my brother, Christian, to remind me of the first lesson I learned as a child. And that was a Campbell man never quits. Because if you quit at one thing, my dad used to tell me, say, son, if you quit at one thing, you will quit at everything for the rest of your life. Ladies and gentlemen, don't quit. And think about this. If you never quit in life, you can never lose. If you never quit, you can never lose. Don't give up on yourselves. And I thought about what I had been through in the past. See, we move so quick in this country. We move so forward thinking, like we forget to look at the things that we've been through that have shaped and molded us into the men and women that we are today. Ladies and gentlemen, there's some things that you went through in your own personal lives. You didn't know how you were going to make it out, but you did, because you're here alive and well and you've got a great job. So what makes you think that life can deal you something in the future that you can't overcome, that you can't surpass? It's already built in your DNA. Don't forget to look over your past. So I thought about alternative school. I was like, man, I've been here. 4:30 in the morning, let's wake up and let's get it. So I started working out and running in the pitch black at the school at 4:30 in the morning that spring. When the lights come on in the gym, I knew that there was a class from the junior college at the gym, and I'd go there and I'd lift weights after that. Then I'd go to school all day. And then I'd come back and work out with the team on the afternoons, and on the weekends, I would run a notorious hill outside of Rose Bowl Stadium that's still there to this day. Yes, Earl Campbell's son had a bus pass. I was riding a bus to get to working out. That's how much it mattered to me. I wasn't going to let something stand in the way of accomplishing what I wanted to accomplish. I made sure that I had a 3.0 GPA. And the fact that if a college ever came, your boy Tyler Campbell would be ready to go. It changed in all facets of my life. Don't just change your mind and the way you think when it comes to sales. Hold yourselves accountable for your own personal lives and your families as well. Because we all know if home life ain't right, it has an effect on your business. Keep your children, your family in the highest of regards. I quickly learned that my work, again, was not about me. It was about we. More teammates started to join me on these 4:30 a.m. workouts. And I told the guys, I said, guys, if we all work out and if we go out there and win as a team, we all get out of Pasadena City College and go to the college of choice that we want. So we all got to work out. You have to be about we instead of me. Don't be so selfish with it. You have that type of change. There is power in you to change the hearts of individuals on a regular basis. Don't sell yourself short. One day, that summer, before the season starts, there was a gentleman who walked out with my coach to watch us practice, and he was wearing a college shirt that said the letters SDSU on his shirt. Those letters stood for San Diego State University. I said, Tyler, this is where your separation has got to be in your preparation. This is what you've been working for. Your separation has got to be in your preparation. By definition, preparation is the process of being made ready for use. I had been making my life ready for use to get to a Division I college, and this was my moment. That day, I caught every single pass that was thrown my way in 7-on-7 drills and scored multiple touchdowns. 4 weeks from that day, I had a scholarship offer in the mail from San Diego State University. 3 weeks from that day, I enrolled at San Diego State University before the season ever started. My academic advisor, his name is Michael McClellan. He is still back at that school to this day. I called him up before this year even started. I said, Mike, have you had anybody come to your school as a student athlete and only play 2 games, barely 2 games in their sport of choice and receive a full ride scholarship to a Division I university? And he told me no. Ladies and gentlemen, when your separation is in your preparation, you will stand up and you will stand out and you will gain whatever it is that you desire. But you got to put some work in behind the scenes. Life will not give you anything. I get to San Diego State University, no mosquitoes, and I saw the beach. In-N-Out Burger was less than a mile from the university. I was in heaven, all right? I made it a point to smile each and every day when I woke up. If I couldn't do anything else, I made it a point to smile. My teammates would ask me, they say, TC, why do you smile so much? I say, man, if you had been through what I went through just to get to this point, if your life had bottomed out like mine had bottomed out and been over all type of tumultuous things to get to where I am, you would smile each and every day. You can't do nothing else in sales. Even if you're meeting with somebody you don't desire and like, man, smile at them. They will start to remember you. Man, this guy, this woman, he's always smiling. I can't stand him. He's always smiling. What is he so happy about? What is she so happy about? People will remember you. Stand up and stand out. It's the little things that you do. I'm at San Diego State University. I get moved from fullback to running back. I didn't care. My education was paid for. I was doing good. I was living the life. In my junior year, after the last game of the season playing BYU University, I came out of that game absolutely normal. I went to sleep that night absolutely normal. Only to wake up in the middle of the night routinely like I always do, but instead of rising to my feet, I fell flat on my face. I had paralysis down the right side of my body. My right arm and my right leg did not work. No matter how hard I tried to move them, they would not respond. I tried to yell, and then I noticed that my speech wasn't there. The words were processing in my brain, but they weren't coming out. I could not formulate a sentence. My equilibrium was totally off. To try to stand to my feet was impossible. And I was terrified. I get sent to La Jolla Memorial Hospital. And as I'm there and I'm waiting in a doctor's office, a neurologist to be specific, somebody for your brain, I'm 21 years old. I'm sitting on the patient table and I'm facing the door and I'm awaiting a diagnosis. I'm in a brand new city, a brand new state, no family, no friends, no real support. When I needed a shoulder as a man, I needed a shoulder to lean on because I had no idea what was about to take place with my life. And I was diagnosed with a disease, an autoimmune disease by the name of multiple sclerosis. I couldn't even pronounce it. And the way they diagnosed me was they took a spinal tap needle, a needle about this long. They put it into my vertebrae in between them, and they shoved the needle in and extracted the spinal fluid. MS. I had never heard of it. The only question I asked the doctor was, look, I'm here. I don't want to let down my teammates. I got to get an education. My mama said I couldn't come back to Texas if I didn't have her business management degree done by this May. What do we got to do to keep this show on the road? This train got to stay moving on the tracks. She said, I've never had an athlete before. I've never had an African-American patient before. I've never had a male so young have this disease before. She said, if you continue to play with this disease, she said, if you have another relapse, we got to take the game of football away from you forever. I said, cool, let's bandage this thing up. Give me the medicine, let's go. That's all I needed to know. I start back at school the next semester. I don't tell anybody about my disease. I didn't even tell my coaches. I was not comfortable giving the word out to people. So I didn't tell anybody. I graduated in May like I wanted to. I was on meds. I would inject myself every night in different spots all over my body. I was even nominated as a captain my senior year. And I was playing fullback. Didn't play as much as I wanted to, but I was proud to be a part of the team. At the tail end of that year, all of our running backs got hurt. It wasn't my fault because my blocking was terrible. I'm going to blame that on the offensive line. But all of our running backs got hurt. I played running back the last 5 games of the season, and I had a stellar year. It was so good that my teammates said, man, why don't you go out and have a pro day? And What a pro day is when you work out for NFL scouts at your college. They come out, they see you work out. If they like what they see, you might get a chance for free agency in the NFL. So I get my body in tip-top shape. I was looking good, y'all. Bench press 225, 24 times. I had a 38-inch vertical. I ran a 4.6, 440, which was so. But remember, I could put the weight on. I could either be 230 to 240 pounds, or I could stay below and be 215 pounds. If you know anything about the NFL, it's about being as versatile as possible as you can be. And it was a dream come true. Got a chance to talk to the San Diego Chargers and New York Giants and the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. It was amazing. And I really felt like at 22 years old, this was the brightest moment I ever had in my life. And I felt like pro football was right there around the corner. It was that type of day for me. But a week after that day, I woke up in the middle of the night like I always do. And instead of rising to my feet, I fell flat on my face. I didn't panic. I knew what this was. I had a protocol to follow already instilled, and I knew the emergency room needed to get to. I got to the emergency room. A teammate drove me there. And they're yelling out all types of crazy terms while I'm laying there on the hospital bed. And before you knew it, they said, yep, let's get him to a room. If you've been to the ER before, don't put it on your bucket list if you haven't. But if you've been to the ER before, you know they take their sweet time. Whenever they get you to moving, you know it's pretty serious. Spinal taps, MRIs, and other scans learned that I had a relapse of multiple sclerosis. This time, my body was fading faster and faster. I was becoming a vegetable in the hospital bed. The doctor walked in all nonchalantly and smooth, and he said, Mr. Campbell, you've had a relapse with the disease multiple sclerosis. I said, man, doc, tell me something I don't know. I can't really move over here. And he said, you can't play for the game of football anymore unless you want to live in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. And I said, I wanted to throw a pillow at him because I was like, yo, who are you to take away my dream? You don't know me. You're just the doctor. You can't tell me. But instead of doing those things, I looked at the doc. I said, when one door closes in your life, doc, another one's going to open. I was going to be okay. I didn't know how, but I was going to be okay. The hospital released me. They said there's nothing else that you could do. I developed drop foot. I was in a wheelchair. By that time, my mother had flown out to take care of me. My own mother had to feed me. She had to bathe me. A humbling experience. I was 220 pounds, the best shape I've ever been in. My mother had to feed me. She had to bathe me. She had to help me to the restroom. I could only eat off of my stomach. That's how bad it was. And I was shedding tears. My mama gave me this story of a man by the name of Paul, and it changed my life. And Paul had a thorn in his flesh, and it wouldn't get removed. But he stayed persistent, and he kept moving through life. My mama looked at me. She said, Tyler, this is your thorn. What are you going to do about it? I get back to the state of Texas, learn that there's one of the world's best neurologists actually in Round Rock, Texas, a man by the name of Dr. Edward Fox. And what was dope about the disease was that, like, my father had to pick me up and take me to physical therapy. My dad was learning how to walk. I was learning how to walk. And my father and I got a deeper relationship. Not that it wasn't deep, but it was real deep because I, for the first time, could understand what it was like for him to go through the things that he went through. To have to humble yourself as an individual and ask somebody for help. I understood what my father went through. He's had 4 back surgeries, knee replacement surgeries, and shoulder surgery. He's beat up from football. His son could understand. We got a deeper relationship. People ask me all the time, are you upset that you got MS? Are you upset that you have multiple sclerosis? I tell them, no, absolutely not. I got a greater relationship with my father. Are you kidding me? There are some men or women in this room, you grew up not even knowing who your father was, or they chose not to be in your life. You know what I'm talking about. But I'm fortunate enough to have a deeper relationship with my father, and I thank that all because of multiple sclerosis. I don't blame anybody for what I have. Now, with my disease, I battled being impotent as a man at that particular time in my life. I was 22 years old. How in the world do you go about explaining to a woman that you value their relationship? You want to say things progress, fellas. You know how it is when you're in your 20s. Girls are already thinking about marriage. How can I tell somebody like, man, listen, you might not get a family out of me because of the medication I'm in and because of what's going on in my brain? I was always worried about that. There was one person I told about my disease. Her name was Shana Watson at that particular time. Shana ended up moving after she graduated to the state of Texas because we had jobs down here and California was going through a real estate crisis. So she moved down here to Texas. A long-distance relationship was born. And it was like the man above was telling me, he was like, Tyler, it don't get no better than this. You better put a ring on it like Beyonce says. It ain't going to get no better than this. And I married that woman September 16th, 2011. Doctors told us it would be difficult for us to have children. She had her own struggles with pregnancy. I had my own thing going on. People will always step into your life and tell you what you can and can't do. We now have 2 children. I have an older son by the name of Messiah, Christian Campbell, who was born June 21st in 2013. I have a 1-year-old daughter, and she's a terror, and her name is Cheyenne Avery Marie Campbell. You never know what life is going to deal you. Never let things from the outside world inhibit you from accomplishing what you desire to accomplish. Now, this is corporate world, and I'm getting ready to close, and I'm going to close with this. This is corporate world. My father has a meat business. Okay, Earl Campbell Meat Products. We sell over 11 million pounds of sausage annually. We are ranked in the top 10 nationally according to national IRI data as far as the best sausage companies in the state in America. That's us. Most people don't know that. You don't really grocery shop when you go on vacation. Okay? So I came up with this analogy because I was young and I was hungry and I wanted to make an impact in sales. I looked at the word BOSS, B-O-S-S, and I came up with an acronym that I could read each and every day of my life to motivate me to get to where I wanted to be. Each letter stands for something. The B stands for believe. If you don't believe in yourself and what you are capable of as a human being on this earth, if you don't believe that there's a power that exists inside of you, you cannot accomplish what it is that you desire to accomplish. You may fake the funk with you and in front of other people, but at the heart, if you don't believe in yourself, nothing's ever going to come to fruition. So I looked at our company when I got out here in 2009, and I looked at places I could make an impact. I used to tell people all the time, I'm going to be in sales and I'm going to dominate. And they looked at me and they said, man, he's crazy. He's only 22, 23 years old. I looked at our company. We didn't have a website at that particular time. I said, are you kidding me? It's 2010. We don't have a company website. Open up a company website, sell product online. Oh, but Tyler, we're not going to make any revenue. I said, it's not about the revenue. I said, if we put our company online, we were able to track the sales of our company. And then we can utilize the people who order our products online, no matter where they are in the United States of America, and go to a grocery chain and say, look, we're in Washington State. These are all the orders from Washington State. Put this man on the shelf in your grocery stores. Believe that you can make an impact. I was making stuff up as I was going. I honestly did not know everything. But I believed that I was there for purpose, and I believed I had to work harder than everybody else because my dad's face is on that package, so everybody's knowing that I'm here and I'm the token kid. But I worked harder than everybody did. Matter of fact, I started out at $100 a week. $100 a week, and I worked the factory floor. What's that, like $20-something thousand? Man, less than that. That's like, I don't even know. It's not a lot of money. Okay? I worked highs and ties in the shipping department. I worked in human resources. I worked at smokehouses. I juggled lean porks, fat porks, lean beef. I did everything. I could tell anything you want to know about beef and cows and pork, probably more than what you want to know. But I could tell you. But I earned the respect of the people and the employees because I was down there working the shifts just like they were. And I believed I could make a difference, and I was willing to do anything I could to do it. Are you willing to do anything and everything to make your presence felt from a sales standpoint? You got to believe. The next O stands for overcome. Overcome. Why? Because once your belief is established, life is about to throw you some people in your life that are going to try to take you down. They're going to say, no, you can't do this. Listen, you want to make an impact here? Solve a problem within the organization. Solve a problem that goes on in your field of study. I think the great Earl Nightingale said it the best. He said, successful people aren't people without problems. Successful people are the individuals who know how to solve a problem on a routine and regular basis. What problems can you solve right now for TEI? What can you solve? What can you do better? What can get done that will take this company to another level? And be persistent about it. I think the great Count Basie said it the best. He was a mentor to somebody by the name of Quincy Jones. If you know music, you know Quincy Jones. A person who's been nominated for a record 80 Grammys, has 27 Grammys himself. Count Basie was somebody who was an African-American musician in the 30s and 40s, had his own jazz orchestra and band, and he would tell Quincy Jones when he was young and upcoming, he would say, Quincy, learn to deal with the valleys and the hills will take care of themselves. Learn to deal with the valleys in life and the hills will take care of themselves. Long story short, just take care of what you can take care of that is in front of your face every day. Do not worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised to anybody anyway, so don't worry about it. And as you learn to tackle task after task after task, problem after problem after problem, you are building yourself up to be able to handle when skies fall. When you're dealt with that adversity, when prices are increased in the field, when your competitor takes some of your customers, you know how to bounce back because you've learned how to problem solve consistently in your duration of your employment. Learn to deal with the hills, learn to deal with the valleys, and the hills will take care of themselves. Overcome your adversity. The next S stands for strategize. Come up with a plan that you can implement each and every day. Hold yourself accountable for it. What will you do differently in 2019 that you didn't do through 2018? Show up with a plan each and every day that you are blessed to open up your eyes. What will you accomplish? People also always told me that you can't sell product in the Northeast. They don't eat sausages like we do in the South. You can't sell product in public supermarkets down in Florida because it's one of the best supermarket run chains in the United States of America. You can't sell product in Denver, Colorado because they're scared of red dye. I heard it underneath the sun. So I was like, you mean to tell me y'all haven't even actually tried? Oh, we've tried, Tyler, but it can't be done. Okay. So I was like, let me go to Wikipedia and look up all the grocery chains in the United States of America. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just call every single grocery chain in the United States of America and do it for a couple years straight just to see what happens. Yeah, people hung up in my face, told me not ever to call again. Some people even told my boss that I had called. But you know what? Some people answered the phone. Some people granted me a meeting. And I was young. Got product into public supermarkets down in Florida. Sold product to ShopRite supermarkets up in the Northeast in Jersey and Connecticut and New York. Sold product to Myers Supermarkets, the first hypermarket grocery chain in the United States of America. Yes, before there was a Walmart, there was Myers Supermarkets in the Midwest. And sold product in the state of California. And people were looking at me like I'm a genius. No, I just put the time in while you were sleeping. It mattered to me. Do you treat this brand here at Texas Enterprises as if your name is in the title of it? Treat this company. Treat your company credit card. Treat your sales like this is your company. I promise you will embody it differently, and you will always look for an opportunity to make it better. Strategize, come up with a plan for yourself. Whatever that looks like, implement it and see what happens. The last S is the one that everybody hates. It stands for sacrifice. This is America. We want our cake and we want to eat it too. We want everything, but we aren't willing to give up something to get it. You're going to have to sacrifice for what you want. Might mean less time at home. I don't know. That's why you have to make sure your home life is straight. You and your wife are straight. You and your kids are straight. Because not always does more money make a better situation. What good is having all the money in the world if you don't have anybody to share it with, or if your family doesn't hold you in the highest of regards? Sometimes working may require some family time. Sometimes it may require you not going to South by Southwest. Instead, you got to be in the office taking care of some business. No concerts, can't be outside in 6th Street, running the streets, 5th Street, whatever. You can't be there. You got stuff to take care of in your own regard. What are you willing to give up to make room in your life to ensure that Texas Enterprises reaches goals that they have for the that you have for the company? What will you give up? I have a belief that I one day will get cured from multiple sclerosis, but I have a belief it's not going to come from any medicine. I have a belief that it's got to come from me. There's some things that have to change in my life. You see, I know that I contracted this disease by something I brought onto my body, either the air that I breathed or the food that I consumed, maybe the things that I've drunk, something I did to my body. I had to take ownership for that and recognize that I did this to myself. There's a thing called the Candida diet. If you know what keto is, it's worse than keto. But it has been proven by a woman by the name of Amber Roach that you can cure yourself of multiple sclerosis or help yourself if you abide by these things. No breads, no dairies, no cheeses, no grains, no beans, no legume. I mean, it is absolute, no sugar. Oh, my goodness. Horrible. Sometimes I go to Chick-fil-A and I just look at people because I see how happy they are. Like, bro, I remember those days. Like, I just need a number one, no pickles. And I just look, they seem so happy. So I know people get on diets and they say, oh, it's not that bad. Listen to me. I'm telling you it's that bad. I don't like this. But I want to be there to greet my son when he graduates from high school at the age of 18, not in a wheelchair. I want to be able to stand and hug him and say, son, job well done. So if I have that at the forefront of my mind of what I want it to be, then yes, I can let some foods go in my life. What do you want in your life? B-O-S-S. What does that spell? Say it again. B-O-S-S. What does that spell? Boss. So boss up, ladies and gentlemen. Accomplish your goals and your dreams. I'm going to leave you with this. Don't let people take away from you the things that make you who you are. Don't let anybody else that you encounter in your life steal your peace. Take away from who you are as a man. Take away from who you are as a woman. I want y'all to be like a bottle of water or a bottle of soda. You're the bottle, but the contents on the inside are your emotions and your reactions. You're going to lose customers. Somebody's going to undercut you price-wise. Somebody in Salesforce is going to say something bad about you. Don't be so quick to react in an irrational way. Calm yourself down and relax and figure out how you solve this problem. When you shake a bottle of soda and you open it, it spills all over the place. I want y'all to be like a bottle of water. It does not matter how hard you shake a bottle of water. It does not matter how many times you throw it up in the air, drop it up and down. It doesn't matter what you do to it. That bottle of water is going to stay as calm, cool, and collective as you can imagine. Whatever the world throws you, you stay like a bottle of water. All the adversity, all the trials, all the tribulations, don't let it affect who you are as a man and a woman on this earth. You have value. You got something unique and something special inside of you. And you are going to be the reason why this company goes to a whole nother level in 2019. Believe, overcome, strategize, and sacrifice. Be a bottle of water, ladies and gentlemen, instead of a bottle of soda. It's that simple. Thank you for your time.